Hey, this is David Kaplan from ESPN 1000, the Cap and J Hood Morning Show, and NBC Sports Chicago. Do what I do. Watch Braggs in the Stands with Greg Braggs and Jake. Must watch television. Take that.
Green Bay still sucks. That's right. Let's go.
The Bears, they started this new tradition last year where they celebrate their wins the correct way.
Bottle and Sylvie, ESPN 1000, don't miss it.
I know what you mean.
It's like their own Philly.
Okay. Okay, I think what it is.
We shouldn't be showing this. Am I crazy?
What a great sign that is. What have I told you? 17 minutes of rain would wash away 108 years of drought.
Do you see this team growing into the team that you were in 2005?
Great practice, everybody.
You are ridiculous.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Braggs in the Stands, and I am your host, Gregory Braggs Jr. We have a very special night coming for you. A couple special guests, a lot of special guests. Of course, my guy, David Kaplan from ESPN 1000 and NBC Sports Chicago are going to be joining us here in just a few moments. And Darrin Utynek, CEO of Bernie's Book Bank, and also a very good friend of mine. And joining me tonight will also be, you see over my shoulder, the Collector's Cave. I've been doing a lot of work with them, and they're region rats, and we take care of each other. And my guys, Aaron and Mike, have done a lot of that here this summer. Got a lot of fun things planned here coming up. And Aaron's going to be joining us here tonight as well. We're going to be talking a lot of Bears. Unfortunately, we got to talk about them Packers. Talk about whether or not they own us. It's tough pill to swallow, but having lived through this in the 90s on the right side of things with Michael Jeffrey Jordan and every team he tormented, it kind of getting a taste of that medicine here, and you gotta take it. And hopefully the Chicago Bears can get to a point where they're dishing it out and not taking it like they have been here for the last 20, 30 years while this rivalry's gotten flipped on its head. But just very excited for things, having a lot of healthy debate on Twitter about different things. And, something, everybody knows in the chat, I don't have any problem, going at it with somebody. I'll argue with the best of them. Always try to keep it light. Always try to keep it respectful. I have no problem with people, taking lighthearted jabs. I can have fun with that. But, at the same time, we all got to keep the personal stuff out of it and try to, all is fair in love and war, but at the same time, this is sports. It's supposed to be fun. So, I always just encourage people to have sports debate, but try not to take yourself too seriously. I know I don't here. And, it sucks when the Bears and the Packers lose and everybody's kind of coming at each other and stuff, but sports and music are supposed to bring people together, and especially after everything we've had in the last year with COVID and things of that nature, we need sports and music to bring us together. And that's what this show is all about, the fans in the stands. And I try to represent that as best I can. Got everybody in the chat here already showing up. Pat Bleck, got to see him here in the tailgate with my guy Trey Tunes. It was a lot of fun meeting you, Pat. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, is that kind of camaraderie. And I would never know Pat Bleck if it wasn't for what I do here. And I'm appreciative of his support and his friendship. And look forward to tailgating with you here, more going forward now that I know where you're at and where Chris is at. It was fun seeing Chris as well. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guy, Aaron from the Collector's Cave. How are we doing tonight, Aaron?
I'm good. What's up, Ragsy?
Hanging, licking our wounds after another tough beatdown from the Green Bay Packers. One of the toughest ones. I wouldn't say the toughest loss. I was at the game when Randall Cobb broke free over Chris Conley for the division on a cold winter's night. That was probably the toughest moment I've had to swallow, but having Aaron Rodgers tell us he owns us in the stands, we'll discuss it here more going forward, but just, if that's the last time we ever see him here in a Packer uniform, which at this point I doubt it is, we'll get, our guest's opinion on that as well. But if it is the last time we see him here in Soldier Field as a Green Bay Packer, it was fitting because he let us know. And, he may not have the resume of Michael Jordan as far as championships, but the way he's owned us certainly is reminiscent of those Jordan days when you consider what he did to the Knicks and the Pacers and a lot of different teams, to be honest with you.
Aren't we used to this already, though? I mean,
yeah.
Do you expect anything less? I mean, this is
I picked them to lose. I didn't, there's no, you can, as a fan, you're going to trick yourself going into the week as you get closer to Sunday. How's my team going to win? But when you got Aaron Rodgers or even Tom Brady, as we have him coming up here next Sunday, you can trick yourself all you want, but in the back of your head what's coming. So at some point, you can.
I'm going out to Tampa for that game. Actually, I'll leave Saturday to go out there, and I'm sitting here thinking, man, like, what do I wear, right?
Right.
Just go for the neutral,
Well, you rock your Bears shit, but at the same time, if they lose, you just take grace in knowing that you're getting to see the greatest quarterback to ever do it, and you just swallow that next pill. More pills to swallow, but maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We'll find out here. So, we're not going to leave our first guest waiting any longer. So without further ado, my guy, Darrin Utynek, CEO of Bernie's Book Bank and lifelong diehard Green Bay Packer fan, as you see the Green Bay sweater underneath. That's, I know a lot of fans in the chat, they're going to be riled up from that, but yes, he's a Packer fan. Nobody's perfect, but how are we doing tonight, Darrin?
My man, it is great to see you. Thank you so much for having me on. And, I agree with everything you said in the intro. It's a good day today to be a Green Bay Packer fan.
Well, when you go through the tunnel of love, as I call it, and we did it on our walk, the infamous walk for Bernie's Book Bank, we chant Green Bay sucks. Here's the video.
Green Bay sucks! 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 Let's go!
So that's before the game, Darrin. And when the game was over, we're going through the tunnel and everyone's chanting, "We still suck." So we got our humble pie. There's no question about that.
So I noticed, because I tweeted you back and I said, that's a cute little chant, but what's the chant coming out? And I noticed you didn't.
It was "We still suck." Some were trying to do the Green Bay sucks, but nobody was going. When you get whooped like we did and Rodgers saying "we own you," and it was, even though that was, you could hear it on TV mostly, it was relayed through the crowd pretty quickly that's what he said. Not too many fans were chanting that coming out. There was a lot more of the "we still suck." And so, reality smacks you in the face real hard when it comes to Aaron Rodgers.
You know what? And I can't wait to get Cap on.
I know he's excited.
I'm going to give him a little business too. But here's what I would say, and I would love your take on this. But, Rodgers is an interesting cat. We talked about this last year when you had me on with Patrick Manley. But the thing with Rodgers, and this is what was happening to start the game, he gets frustrated very quickly, and he starts to lose interest in the game. And I thought the Bears defense was doing that to him pretty well. And then I don't know who it was, if it was Quinn or if it was Edwards. One of the D linemen got in his face. And
Robert Quinn did the discount double check right over him.
And if you notice, that's when things changed, because Rodgers gets pissed, and then he gets focused, and then he's off to the races. And so, to me, that was the biggest turning point in the game. When he did that, I was like, "That's a no-brainer. Here he goes." Because otherwise,
the old adage goes, "You don't poke the bear," but in this case, you don't poke the Packer. And it's the Jordan comparison. That was something you didn't do with MJ, and if you did, you paid for it. Kevin Garnett had a great story about that. And yes, it's easy to do the discount double check in the second quarter, but it's a long game, first quarter even, but it's a long game to go. And, they had their opportunity, when they, for the Bears to go up 2-score. Even then, I think Rodgers would have made it a game. No matter, everybody's like, well, this would have happened, the Bears would have won. But he didn't have to do anything in this game. They relied on running the ball because the game wasn't too hard for them to control. Now, if the Bears had gone up 2-score, then Rodgers would have turned it up even more. I mean, in my opinion, and that's just the reality of things. And the other thing they did, to their credit, and they said it after the game, and Tom Waddle said it on the Waddle and Sylvie show. Matt LaFleur, he said they adjusted in their first couple series. They were trying to do outside zone. And when they realized they couldn't hold up that, because the Bears defensive line is very good, they had to switch things up. And then they started running it in a different way. And that, gave them a lot of success. They started throwing screens to offset, the pressure. And that's something the Bears aren't good at. The Bears don't know how to do that at this point, even with a young rookie quarterback, is adjust in the middle of the game. Yeah, you can get a touchdown on that opening series, that scripted series that you practice all week. But what do you do when you get hit in the mouth and you got to counter punch? And, it's a punch-counterpunch league, and the Bears haven't learned how to counterpunch just yet.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I think the other thing that was shocking to me is, Green Bay we were down to, you and I could have suited up for the defensive backfield. Kevin King is probably the worst corner in the league, and we trot him out there every week, and he was even hurt. And so,
right.
The fact that the Bears didn't attack the corners like I thought they were, it just shocks me. I thought the game plan was really soft. I thought they were, again, tentative with Fields like they have been. But the offensive play calling is just, when you look at what we had out there on the ends, Stokes is good, but he's a rookie.
Right.
And, rookies are suspect. And then, when Savage went out, I thought for sure they're going to start attacking. We bring in Black at safety. I've never even seen the kid on the field. So
sure.
It was shocking to me that they were as tentative as they were.
Yeah, well, the Packers can do that, and they have that effect on the Bears. And maybe one day that'll change, but it wasn't yesterday. So we have our next guest here joining us, and I know the chat's going to be very excited about this because we're all obviously lifelong P1ers of ESPN 1000. So without further ado, our next guest joining us from ESPN 1000 and NBC Sports Chicago is our guy, David Kaplan, who's already sick of listening to Darrin's shit.
Yeah, if he's going to wear that ugly-ass green shirt, I'm leaving. At least I'm repping orange.
Yeah, I wore the Bears shirt to work today. I had to pay my boss $20 because we bet every week, and he bets the opposite team because he's a hater. He's an old timer and thinks the Bears are going to lose every week. So I bet the Bears. He takes the opposing team. We decided to up it. He wanted 20 this week, so I had to eat that one at lunch. It wasn't fun, but how are we doing tonight, Mr. Kaplan? And just out the gate, your initial thoughts. We all listened to you here this morning on the Cap and J Hood show, but your initial thoughts for everybody in the Twitch chat as far as what you saw yesterday and the ongoing tradition of the Green Bay Packers and these last two quarterbacks, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, now, smacking us in the mouth.
Well, let's just be honest. We've got a bad coach. And again, he may be a wonderful guy to have as your neighbor. Like, have a drink with that dude in the backyard. I've met him. I've interviewed him. I like him very much, but I just don't think he's a very good football coach. I don't. He may be a great molder of men. He may get guys that like playing for him in his structure, in his culture, but the offense, he's been the head coach for 56 games, including 2 playoff games. 27 times they've scored 20 or less points. 27 of 56. That's pathetically bad. So at some point, you have to go, well, I guess it wasn't Mitch. I guess it wasn't Glennon. I guess it wasn't Chase Daniel. I guess it wasn't Andy Dalton. At some point, you've got to move on from this guy.
I completely agree, Cap. And, I heard you last week with my guys from the Tape Never Lies Network, Phil and Shane, and you had a great interview with them. And you mentioned that, he was told that, you said he got that knock on the door that, hey, you got to play Fields and all that matters is his development. And then I heard you today say you believe he will be fired at the end of the season on your show this morning. So I want to know, where you exactly stand, because just wanted clarification on that. Do you believe that Matt Nagy was told, hey, all that matters is development, the record doesn't matter? Or do you believe there's more on the line for Nagy to keep his job going into the offseason?
Well, as I watched Derrick Henry just run 85 yards for a touchdown, that guy is such a beast. Beast.
That's a first-time touchdown parlay win for Mr. Aaron.
Yeah, that guy is ridiculous. Well, I can click one off my same-game parlay on PointsBet now. Anyway, so what I said on that show was I didn't say I know for a fact that there was a knock at the door. That's what I believe happened. I do have people I trust up there who said George and Ted believe the most important thing, because they don't think they're winning a Super Bowl, the most important thing is, did you make that kid better? Is he going to flourish in your system? If he's not, then we're going to have to get somebody in here who can coach that guy. So at the end of the year, would I say the record doesn't matter at all? If they go 4-13, he's gone. If they go 8-9 and Justin looks like the real deal, knowing these guys that run everything up there, do I think he stays? Probably. I'm not sure that's an 8-9 football team. I'm not sure. We'll find out.
Yeah, I agree. And so I want to ask a Justin Fields question here, and then I'll let my guy Aaron here from the Collector's Cave get a question in if he's got one to you, Cap. But, your opinion on Justin Fields so far, because I've had some healthy debates. It's getting a little frisky in the Twitter world, Twitter streets here today, in my opinion, because I made up, I got home from the game and I turned on the Patriots game. I watched him play last week against New England. And Mac Jones he impresses me. Now, is he the athletic talent that Justin Fields is? No. But he looked sharp against Tom Brady, there's a lot of pressure in that kind of a game to look as sharp as he did, and the weather wasn't that good for that game. Then in this game, I turn it on at the end, and he throws a pick six. It's like, oh, bad ball. They come back the next play and zip it for 80 yards. Granted, the safety didn't play the ball that well. But I'm sitting there and I go, where the fuck is that with the Bears? Why are we so scared? And they're out there. He throws a pick six. As bad a mistake. If the Bears threw a pick six, they'd curl up into a ball and die. But the Patriots, they don't seem to worry. Now, I know what the answer is, but at the same time, to me, I said on Twitter, I said, Mac Jones is being developed while they're losing. In my opinion, Justin Fields isn't being developed. And I say that because all the development needed to happen in the preseason. I'm hearing Matt Nagy say today, hey, we're learning how to do the scramble drill. Allen Robinson and him got to get on the same page of where he wants to go with it when he scrambles. And we're learning now what Justin Fields likes to do and what he doesn't like to do. That's stuff they could have figured out in the preseason when we were all wringing our fists saying, play him with the ones. Now you drop him into this situation during the regular season, and they're trying to win games. They're 3-2, have a chance at first place. And you can't just play loose and open up the play. You got to try to play to win. So I don't see how this plan is helping his developmental curve. So what is your take on this as far as the plan as far as them developing Justin Fields?
Well, I disagree with you. I do think he's developing. I think every time he takes a rep in an NFL game, he's developing.
Sure.
And I think he's going to be a really good football player. I do. Matt truly, and I know this for a fact, good friend of mine that I went to school with, knows Matt very well, and my buddy scouts in the league. He said, you can say Matt was wrong, but Matt truly believed Andy Dalton gave the other 50 guys exclusive of the quarterback room the best chance to win on Sunday. Now, I know Sylvie and a bunch of other people are like, I don't care. I want to play the kid and let him learn. That boat. Matt felt, and I understand where he's coming from. You ask Khalil Mack, hey, man, can you play with a bum ankle? We'll shoot it up. Hey, Robert Quinn, can you come back from that back injury? Akeem Hicks, you got a groin. And this guy's got this, and this guy's got that. I owe it to them to put the guy who I think gives us the best chance to win on the football field. That's an admirable trait. And that's why dudes like playing for this guy. They do. They feel like he truly has their best interests at heart. Me personally, I would have started, and I said this from day one, I would have started Justin from day one. You're not winning the Super Bowl. Bam, you're in there, kid. Let's go. Come hell or high water, you're going to learn on the job. And I think somebody above Matt finally went to him and said, we're not evaluating you on if you win the Super Bowl. We're evaluating on, did you guys get it right? Because if you didn't, you're all out of here.
Sure. And just to push back a little, to me, the whole plan was flawed because they wanted to play Andy Dalton, but then he got very limited snaps in the preseason. He comes out, and before he even got hurt, he didn't look good against the Rams. And then Justin Fields comes in off an injury, and now trying to build all this chemistry on the fly. I get it's, hindsight's 20/20, but a lot of fans, like you said, Sylvie among others, were pointing out that it needed to happen. Now, it is what it is at this point, but it's just frustrating, and I'm just wondering how, because the game just looks so tight. And like I said, I'm watching Mac Jones over here grip it and rip it. This team, they're passing the ball like 14, 15 times a game. And I'm just wondering how it's even possible for them to open it up and let them cut loose. You know, the Lions aren't going to be here every week. So,
well, yeah, but you got to remember something. Like Green Bay is missing the best left tackle in the sport, David Bakhtiari. They're missing both their corners. They still have that freaking goat that lines up at quarterback. He makes everybody better. But when we go play Cleveland, I thought it was a bad scheme. I thought it was a bad game plan. But let's not forget, Myles Garrett got what, $130 million?
Yep.
You're trying to block him with a guy making $1 million who's 39 years old. I'm shocked. You're shocked. That didn't work out. Let's go to the other end. Clowney. He was the number 1 overall pick. You're trying to block him with a guy who washed out in Seattle that was a guard here that we moved over to tackle. Again, not you personally. I'm shocked. People are shocked. It didn't work out. We're playing an undrafted rookie or undrafted second-year guy at center, Sam Mustipher. Well, guess what? They got the dude with the hyphenated name playing for Cleveland who's a beast. I'm shocked. People are shocked it didn't work out. I can keep going. Aaron Donald against Jason Peters. Ain't going to end well. So that's my answer to you.
Yeah, I get it. It's, it's hard because you want the team to win, but you understand that they aren't as good as most of the teams they're going to play. But then you also want to see Fields develop. So it's a layered discussion for sure. Aaron, I'll let you fire away at Cap if you have anything for him. Go ahead.
Yeah, really the only question I had was, probably the one bright spot in the game I thought was Khalil Herbert, and I wanted to get your impressions on what you saw out of him, and is he a viable NFL running back?
Yeah, I think he is. Now, is it a devalued position? Somewhat. If you block effectively and you have a reasonably talented dude carrying the mail, he should be able to be reasonably successful. So do I think he's Walter Payton reincarnated? I don't. But I do think they have a pretty solid running back room. Damian Williams and David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert. And they worked out a few different guys today because they've just got, with COVID and with injuries and guys banged up, they need some depth in there. Yeah, I think he can be an absolutely solid football player. 6th-round draft pick, transfer from Kansas where football players go to die to Virginia Tech for 1 year. And he's a 6th-round pick. He runs well. He's tough. He's hard-nosed. Again, he's got to learn to catch a screen pass, but it'd also be nice if we ran more than one screen. You watch what the fucking Packers do? Sorry for swearing.
No, you can swear on here.
We're
not live on NBC Sports Chicago.
Guess what? We get pressure on Aaron 3 times early. What do? They run a fucking screen pass. What do the Browns do? Kareem Hunt, screen pass, gain of 30. We're like, how come we can't run that?
Right. That's why we were all screaming during the Browns game.
Poorly coached.
And that's where I go with the development point. I understand that Justin Fields is improving. Each game he goes out there, he's going to learn something new. But I just feel like the coaching staff is doing more harm than good for him. I
don't agree there. I mean, these aren't stupid men. I just don't think I just don't like their offensive scheme. But every time he takes a snap, he's getting better.
No question about that. All
right.
Go ahead.
Let me fire a question at this crew. So I watched the game, and here's what I've said about Nagy since he got here. I think he overthinks things. So yesterday, they're destroying the Packers up the middle. Komet was catching some nice balls up the middle. Like Cap said, we were playing with our 4th and 5th string cornerbacks, and then they overthink it. Instead of going to what's working, every game they seem to change it up. And I don't know what that is and why that is. But again, against a team like the Packers, if you find something that's working, you got to exploit it more than what they did, because then they just changed it back up and went to their old ways. And so that confuses me about Nagy, and I think it's been that way for a while.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Yesterday, I'll give you one that drove me nuts. You decide to take a timeout, then you decide to challenge.
Right.
Really? Okay, you won the challenge. Big fucking deal. You already used the timeout. It's like losing. And that was on 3rd and 1.
Right.
And then Aaron picks it up on 4th down. What did you gain?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Risk
an extended
reward.
timeout for your team. And then my biggest gripe is when they call timeouts on offense, they come back and they get delay of games off the timeout.
Yeah, what drives me nuts, like go watch Belichick's team play, some of the really well-coached teams. You get down to the final 5 minutes of a game, they still have all 3 of their timeouts. Rare. Occasionally, they've got to call one. We always burn a freaking timeout. Even when Jay Cutler was here, a veteran quarterback, 4 minutes left first quarter, timeout. For what? And then you need it late and you don't have it. So, yeah, it's more than a little frustrating. Again, that dude, if he's your neighbor, he's the guy that shovels your sidewalk for you. You go, what a good dude. I'm
that guy. I shovel for him.
We're going to be out of town for the weekend. Great guy. I sat with him. He's the nicest human being in the world. Family guy. I think he's a smart man. I just don't think he's a head coach. I don't.
Well, and that's, it's just interesting to see how this is going to play out because, like you said, there is scenarios in which he will keep his job. So it's like hard as a fan. What do you root for?
Well, here's the problem. Okay, let's assume that at the end of the year, George says you're out and Ryan Pace is out, which I don't think will ever happen. I'll tell you what I think happens. Who's doing the hiring? George and fucking Ted.
Yep.
What I think there's a possibility, touchdown Buffalo, Stephon Diggs. What I think is a possibility that could happen. If they're truly going to move to Arlington Heights, which I think they are, I truly think there's a chance that they kick Ted Phillips over to run the stadium deal. So he's president business operations.
Sure.
They slide Ryan Pace over to president of football operations, and then they go hire a new GM. I could see that happening.
And it wouldn't, anything at this point to shake it up would help. I wouldn't mind if Ryan, I know Ryan has had his lumps as a GM. I'm the one pounding the table for Peyton Manning as president of football operations.
Never going to do it.
I know, but that's what I like is fantasy scenarios that'll never happen.
And I get it, but
because I want you're a Cub fan, just like me, diehard Cub fan, and when we got Theo Epstein, the Cubs for years, nothing would ever change. Same old shit, different day. And then the day they got Theo Epstein was the day everything started to change. And I just wanted have the Bears hire Theo Epstein then, because I just need that's what I'm waiting for is that moment where I know they're going to be in the right hands.
I asked Theo if he would take a football job, and he said that is so disrespectful to people that work in football. I said, why? You're a smart guy. You're a lawyer. You're brilliant. You went to Yale, went to San Diego Law School. I mean, why? He said, I don't know shit about football other than to have a fantasy team and to watch it. He said, there are dudes that give their whole life to it. And you think I can walk in the NFL and run a team? I personally believe he could.
Yep.
I'm not asking him to run the draft. I'm not asking him to pick the players. I'm asking him to set up the structure.
Yep. And he knows how to hire the right people, and Ted Phillips and George McCaskey are hiring Ernie Accorsi to pick their coach. So, it speaks to it. Final Fields thought for you. We've gone through this a million times with different quarterbacks, Jay Cutler, Mitch Trubisky. Do you believe in your heart of hearts that this guy is the one?
Justin Fields?
Yes, sir.
100%. I would bet a monthly mortgage payment that he is the guy. I just am fearful. First of all, I know the fans love Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson's the most overrated player I've seen in a long, long time. He's a very good receiver. I'm not telling you the dude's not a solid football player. $20 million a year, top 10 receiver? Stop. He doesn't have top-end speed. He's not a top-end athlete. He's a good player. You want to watch DK Metcalf, Devontae fucking Adams. He's the best in the league. That's top-end receiver.
Yep.
I'm not paying this guy that kind of money. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, Darnell Mooney's already become the wide receiver one of this team. You know, he gets more targets. You know, he got in the end zone yesterday.
And I don't think he's a number one receiver. I think he's a great number 3 receiver, 2 maybe. I want, like Devontae Adams, he wasn't a top 10 pick. He wasn't a top 20 pick. He wasn't a top 30 pick. He was a second round pick out of that football powerhouse known as Fresno freaking State. But guess what? They developed their quarterback. They brought him in. He's a beast, and they'll pay him because he's a beast. That's why Green Bay, much as I dislike them, and I own a home in Wisconsin now. I have a lake house in Wisconsin that is 30 minutes from Lambeau Field. I'll tell you a fast story. I'm driving up there. I had to do a basketball game at UW Green Bay. True story. I'm driving up. It's a Saturday morning. I got my coffee. I got 3 hours ahead. As I got into Wisconsin, I put a tweet out, said, I'm driving on 94 just into Wisconsin. Horrible odor. Does anyone know what it is? Then like 40 minutes later, it's getting worse. And then I did it again and again. And then I finally got to where I was going, and it was right across the street from Lambeau Field was where UW Green Bay plays. I pulled in the parking lot at Lambeau with the big Packer sign, tweeted with a video. I found the smell. And I pointed right back behind. I go to get gas, and I'm in there, and the guy said, "Oh, are you from the area?" "No, I'm from Chicago." "Sports fan?" "Yeah." "Bear fan?" He goes, "Do you know that asshole David Kaplan who works at the there?" I'm like, "No, I don't know that guy. Who is he?" Yeah, couldn't wait to get out of there. I thought he might shoot me.
I might have been reading your tweets.
Cap, that was the smell of success. You're not used to it in your sports teams. And you weren't recognizing it as you get up there. Listen, we'll get your house decorated. I already told you. I'm buying the first housewarming gift. It's a big old G flag. We're going to fly it proud. Can't wait.
I've never been to Lambeau. I have never gone to a game at Lambeau. I've been to Yankee Stadium, Fenway, you name the cool places. The Forum in L.A. when the Lakers played there. Obviously, all our greats that never have been in Lambeau. Not sure I want to.
You have.
Let's wait till we're the favorites, Cap. I haven't either.
Right.
We'll make Darrin take us when the Bears are.
He's like 31st in offense, and we got a new coach.
That's when we'll go.
Bam! Let's go.
You have to. You guys are sports fans. On a serious note, I'm a homer, but Lambeau Field is just like what you said. I've been to Wrigley. I've been to Fenway. I went to Old Yankee Stadium before they tore it down. You got to go see Lambeau. You got to take in everything that's around it. It's a great environment, and you guys would really enjoy it.
Do you know the difference between Lambeau Field and a porcupine?
Here we go.
On a porcupine, the 65,000 pricks are on the outside.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Speaking of pricks, no, I'm kidding. But for real, Darrin, I'll let you start out with this one because you're the Packer fan. You know, nobody's perfect. As I said, we still love you. But, you know, this infamous moment now that will live on forever, you know, in the Bears-Packers rivalry. And there's been many tough moments for Bears fans, especially in the last 20, 25, 30 years. Aaron Rodgers saying, "I own you," to the crowd as they all yell at him, as you see here in the stands. You know, what was going through your head when it happened as you watched it on TV? And, you know, at any point, do you feel bad for what you're seeing here for us Bears fans?
So it goes back to what I said earlier. If they wouldn't have pissed off Rodgers by getting in his face and doing the belt and everything, he doesn't do this. And the Bears might actually, because the Bears were containing him, and he gets bored. Rodgers gets kind of like in these funks. And then when you wake him up, then it's different. But look, he's a different character. And, you know, I I appreciate him and what he does. You know, his excuse after the game that he blacked out or whatever, I would have loved him to own it and say, you know what? You're damn right I said it, because I do own you. I'm 21-5 against the Bears?
22-5.
22. Thanks, Cap. You know, just own it. And that's where, you know, he drives Packer fans nuts, because just, you know, you did it. You owned it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not like he gave the entire stadium the bird. You know,
you know, the amazing thing, I like the dude. I do. Like last week when he talked about growing up in California, and one of the few cable channels they have was WGN TV. So he became a Cubs fan and he loved the Bulls. Like, I don't know how you can't like that guy.
Yeah. I agree with you.
You definitely see the Jordan mentality. I got some flack from Chubbs and others on Twitter about it, but it is very Jordan-esque the way he thrives off of the competition. And yeah, you know, if you anybody that watched Michael Jeffrey Jordan, you can respect that kind of competitiveness, that will to win. Kaplan, do you think, you know, where does this rank for you in moments of the Bears-Packers rivalry?
Probably number one, because of the emotion of the day for me was when Brian Robinson blocked the field goal right after Walter Payton's funeral, and the Bears, who were a decided underdog, it was a chip shot field goal, and boom, the Bears beat the Packers at Lambeau. It was almost like, you know, Dan Hampton spoke and everyone was emotional. Olin was saying, you can't imagine the emotion we were playing with that day, because Walter had just died and Hamp had this amazing eulogy at Soldier Field. And it was almost like Walter lifted him up, everyone said, and he blocked this chip shot field goal, and the Bears win. That's one. Two, Chester Markle, the old Packer kicker. He's going for the game-winning kick, and the Bears block it. You remember, Darrin?
Yep.
The Bears blocked the kick to win the game. Not so fast. He scoops up the block, fucking turns the corner, he's gone. Runs it into a touchdown. Bears lose again. Mark Lee throwing Walter Payton over the bench with a cheap shot. And then Charles Martin probably is at the top of the list, because that was the 85 Bears or 86 Bears. I think they win the Super Bowl again if McMahon didn't hurt his shoulder on that play.
Sure. Yeah, and for me, you know, obviously the Randall Cobb passing up Chris Connie, that was a tough moment. For me as a Bears fan, didn't really get to live the glory days of the 80s. So all I know are these ass whoopings that Darrin's Packers have been giving me my whole life, and looking forward to returning that favor. You know, final Packers question before we get into a little bit of what Bernie's Book Bank and the work Darrin does is all about.
Darrin is the greatest.
He is. He's a great guy. He's, like I said, a Packer fan, nobody perfect, but and I'll let you start with it, Darrin, and then I want you to take it, Cap, and then you can finish it off, Aaron. Darrin, do you believe that this is the last time we will see Aaron Rodgers in a Packers uniform at Soldier Field?
Nope. So
I think he's coming back.
He's coming back. They're going to figure something out, because, and I think, Cap, I heard you and Hoodie talking about this morning. Where else is he going to go? I mean, when you look at the openings that are going to happen, there's maybe a couple that he's interested in. I think Denver's a possibility, because I think
Steelers maybe.
I don't think he wants to be on the Steelers, because who's, you know, on the defensive side of the ball, they're a bunch of studs, but there's nobody on the offensive side that'll attract him. I think he's proved his point. You know, he wanted some more say in the room. Goody's going to come around, because here's the other thing. I went to college with Goody. You know, Goody's not going to go down as the guy who ran Rodgers out of town.
Yeah.
And, you know, all these guys have huge egos.
Yep.
And they should. You know, at some point, though, it's going to hit. And I think Rodgers did it this summer. I think he proved that he could throw his weight around. And you said it earlier, Braggs. There is some similarities with Jordan. Rodgers has never gotten over the chip on his shoulder from not going number one. He's carried that through. And then there's different milestones that have changed. He's always had these chips on his shoulder with Green Bay about how he wanted to have a bigger voice. And he finally got enough, you know, I don't know, political capital or whatever to push his weight around. That's what he did last year. If you watch the way the contract's written for next year, there's many ways that they can bring him back with everybody saving face, and that's what's going to happen.
and I completely agree with you, Darrin. They're going to say, hey, Aaron, we're thinking of doing this. We want to hire a new janitor. You want to be on the search committee? Hey, Darrin, we might pave the parking lots a different color. What would you like? I'm just telling you, man, if that guy keeps playing at this level, they are not going to F this up. By the way, so my lake house is up in Oshkosh that we bought. Guess whose house is like 6 houses down from me?
Who?
Brian Gutekunst.
I'll make an introduction, Cap.
There you go.
We'll go down there in the middle of the night. I'll bring the eggs. No, okay. Aaron, what are your thoughts? You think, Aaron, we can convince the other Aaron to head off to Jeopardy? He did such a nice job.
He was really good on that. And I hate that I like this guy. It's such a bad spot to be in life. Like, what a turd, but you can't help but appreciate what he does on the football field, right?
Sure. Who's the biggest villain in Chicago sports in your lifetime?
In my lifetime?
How old are you?
Oh, man.
How old are you? 30 what?
I'm 39. Biggest villain? I mean, I go back to like the bad boy Pistons, maybe.
Yeah, Bill Laimbeer.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas for sure.
I still hate Isaiah Thomas to this day.
I'm a LeBron guy.
I hate him.
But what do you hate him? Because he whips our ass?
No. I mean, I did. Yeah, I mean, now he has. He raised
$1 million for charity with the decision.
As he should.
He pays for every kid that graduates from the high schools in Akron can go to the University of Akron for free. He pays for it through his foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you ever heard a scandal with this guy?
No, never.
He got a car when he was a senior in high school, and somebody had given his mom the money to get it. Big freaking deal. He was a billionaire like a year later. This guy is in social media world that we live in. He hasn't had one hint of scandal.
No, and I give him all that. It's totally sports-related hate, no personal hate towards him. When he first came into the league, he was crowned the king. As he came in, I loved him his rookie year because he lived up to the hype. But then as each year went in Cleveland, he started becoming a bit of a diva, and I didn't like his attitude a lot of the times. Then when he ripped that jersey off walking out the tunnel when he couldn't beat Boston, it was very crybaby kind of, antics to me. And then to go to the Heat and stack the deck, I didn't like that. And then, obviously I'm a Bulls fan, so I ride with Derrick Rose, and I wanted Derrick to dethrone him. And you could tell, I mean, obviously probably wasn't any kind of personal hate, but Derrick wasn't a LeBron type. These guys all come out the All-Star game dancing, and Derrick's looking at these guys like, I don't do that. And I always wanted Derrick to slay that dragon, and then he gets hurt, and LeBron just gets to walk through the East every year. So, he's earned his accolades, but at the same time, he's smart and knows how to stack the deck, and each team he's gone to. I'll give it the one credit I'll give him here over the last 10 years is that he had the balls to go back to Cleveland. He could have just lived it up in Miami for the rest of his career. They'd have built a statue from 8 free dinners the rest of his life on the beach. But he put the pressure on himself to go back to Cleveland and finish the job. And he did that, albeit begging for Draymond Green to get suspended in Game 5. And to me, he gets the suspension for Draymond, and Oklahoma City was the team, this is years ago now, but Oklahoma City was the team that should have got the suspension from Draymond between the fight between him and Steven Adams. Then LeBron's begging for it in the presser, and let's give it to LeBron, and that whole series turns on its head. And those are the things to me that drive me nuts about LeBron, is those little moments in each series, how he kind of turns the table. Like Aaron does it with his play, so I respect it. LeBron does it with all these crazy antics and slick little moves that'll get lost in the history of time. And that's why I will never like him. When Derrick got hurt, I became the biggest Steph Curry fan in the world because he, to me, plays it the right way. Yes, they did stack the deck with Durant, so I didn't like that. But the first championship, they didn't. And Steph Curry, to me, was like the perfect nemesis for him because, to me, I just think Steph is the most revolutionary player to play in the NBA since Jordan. Jordan revolutionized the game above the rim. Steph has revolutionized the game beyond the three-point line, and very few players can say that. So I've always been anti-LeBron, but it's no personal hate, not to go off the rails too hard into basketball, but that is why, Kaplan.
By the way, they just took Taylor Lewan, that star offensive lineman,
Michigan,
off on a cart, and he's got a spine board and immobilized. He did give a thumbs up, but it looked ugly. And Ryan Tannehill just ran one in after a pick of Josh Allen. So pending the PAT, it will be 17-13. It is now 17-13 Titans.
Well, we appreciate all your time here tonight, and I know everybody in the Twitch chat appreciates it as well. But let's get into it before we let you guys go about what Darrin does over at Bernie's Book Bank. You know, the three of us, Cap, you know, Darrin and I, we've done the walk here 2 years in a row, and that's how I've gotten to know you, Darrin, and the work you do. You know, why don't you explain to our guests what Bernie's Book Bank is all about, and you know, and you know how they can help in what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Well, I would just start by saying this: everybody on this call and listening has read their way to a better life, no matter what you do. You know, Cap is a Hall of Famer. And I think he would agree that literacy has been the foundation of everything that he's done in his life.
No
and
doubt.
That's what we do. So we provide books to underserved children across Chicagoland so that they can read their way to a better life. And the reason there's a literacy crisis in this country because a lot of the children we serve, they don't have access to books. So in their schools, there's usually one book for every 300 students. So that book's too valuable for anybody to take home and actually interact with the book and learn how to read. So we want to build a home library and just solve that equation. And so we talk about it a lot in the nonprofit space. You know, oftentimes we're given the least amount of resources to solve the biggest problems. And a lot of times there isn't a solution for the problem. There's people out there doing amazing work trying to fight cancer. We don't have a solution yet. Right? They're still trying to crack that code. There is a solution to the problem that we battle, and it's easy. It's just increasing book access to the children. And so that's what we want to do. We want to provide them with that foundation and let them go to wherever their mind takes them. And, you know, sometimes I get accused of romanticizing this, but I often tell people if the cure for cancer or Parkinson's or whatever is sitting dormant on the south side of Chicago in some kid's brain, don't you want that unlocked? And that's all we want, is we want to give them the opportunity to unlock whatever's inside them. If they want to be the next Braggs in the stands and come on here and piss and moan and groan.
Don't put that evil on them.
Yeah. If they want to come on and build their own show and piss and moan and groan about LeBron, they should. And, you know, or if they want to be a Hall of Famer like Cap, we want them to have those tools to get their dreams. And so that's really what we do. We serve about 300,000 children. There's about another 125,000 that would qualify for our program, but we push out about 3 million books a year. And like we always say, Braggs and Cap and actually Aaron, it's a pleasure to meet you. You're now a partner of ours as well. But we want to be your partner, not your charity. We want to promote you and what you're doing just as much as you promote us. And I think Braggs and Cap would tell you that I think, you know, we hold up that end of the bargain as well, because we don't want to think like a nonprofit. We want to think like a razor sharp business. We want to be where Google meets Disney.
I would tell you that Greg was with me when we got on the walk this year. walkisOneChicago.org for anyone who wants to donate. When we got to go to that one school and hand out books, and we came around the corner, I have the video on my phone, and there's 300 kids. There it is. And there's 300 little kids out there, all with signs, and they're waiting to get their bag of books. And I'm handing out bag after bag, and these kids are like, thank you so much. And the one mother walks up to me, and she's sobbing. We can't afford to get books, and just want you to know what it means that you guys are out here. I'm like, that's the dude, Darrin Utynek, the CEO. That what you do is amazing. The contribution you make to our society.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is what it's all about. And you're right, Cap. Like, this was such a chilling moment. There was more than a few people with tears in their eyes, and the kids were just so excited. And just having a 3-year-old now and understanding how important books are in her life. We read to her every night, 4 or 5 books before she goes to bed. And she doesn't want the same books. She wants different books each night. So, this only expands their imagination and ability to grow their mind. And it's important stuff. And the last 2 years, just getting to know Darrin and Cap and you, Darrin, involving me in this, I've been very humbled by it, and no more of a humbling moment than this. And I can't thank you enough for letting me be involved in it, and you guys putting up with my nonsense. But this is what it's all about. And I look up to you, Darrin, as far as your charitable efforts, because that's what what we do here at Brags and Stands is just a lot of fun. And if I'm going to do anything with this platform, it's to give back. We've done a lot of different giveaways here, but it's nice to have something that we can do each year. The walk is tough, but I appreciate the journey, because it represents how much we all want to put into giving back to the city that's so great to us. And these kids that you just saw in this video, they deserve just as much of the love from the city as any of us have ever gotten.
Yeah, I got a tweet, Darrin. You're going to love this. You know the guy that was laying on the ground at Fullerton Avenue Beach, and I turned and I go, "You're done." This guy was dying. And I said, "You're done. You are not going any further." I mean, he was in a lot of agony. I got a tweet from his wife the other day. He's still missing since the walk. That's what she said.
You see him here in the video at some point. He's right there. There he is. So there's the missing man. He appears into the camera. You guys made fun of me because I wore jeans the first year for the first leg of the walk, and he wore jeans for the walk. So, we've had a few people, this year we had, it was just a few of us the first year because of COVID. And then this year we had a big group. That's not it. A bigger group join us, and had a couple that had to drop out.
Event of the year.
What'd you say, Cap?
My favorite event of the year.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We chopped it down from 29 miles to 24 miles, but it's no joke. There's no question about it. Travis, I got to give a shout out to Travis Wacker from ESPN 1000. He made it all the way to Wrigley. Then he went back. He had to go back to work, but it's a great way of promoting it. ESPN 1000 does a great job of elevating it and putting a spotlight on it. And then, of course, Darrin, obviously, you're the catalyst behind all of this. And you guys just reached a big milestone. I saw you on the tube on ABC7, Mr. Hollywood, doing it up big. So why don't you tell the viewers, the milestone you guys hit?
Yeah, so we've been open since 2009, and this past week, so last Thursday, we just distributed our 20 millionth book. And so
that's insane. That's incredible.
It was awesome. And, Cap, as he was just saying about the kids, we were at a school. A little girl named Maya got the 20 millionth book. And it was one of those things where I'll never forget it for the rest of my life watching her. We did a Willy Wonka kind of theme where we wrapped it up in green and we hid it in one of the bags. And, we got all the kids riled up. And then I scared the absolute daylights out of her. I told her she had to take over for me at Bernie's Book Bank, and she started crying. She was so scared. So that's why they don't let me in front of a mic very often. But, I do want to say one thing, and I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it, but, the walk has been huge for us, and that was David Kaplan's brainchild. And he's had a lot of ideas over his illustrious career. This one's by far my favorite idea. And, he deserves a lot of credit for it because, he throws it out there. And I've had the good fortune to get to know him pretty well and call him a friend now, but anybody who knows Cap knows he'll throw out some crazy ideas. But the funny thing is he'll back them all up. He doesn't retreat. He doesn't say anything that he doesn't believe in. And, Cap, it was huge for us for the walk. It's been huge for us to continue building our relationship, but then we got people I would never have met Braggs, and we would never have started that relationship. And Aaron, I hope you and I now form a relationship, because that's what it's all about for Bernie's Book Bank, is building relationships and then, connecting people, because to me, that's how things get improved upon in life. And that's what we want to do. So huge kudos to you two gentlemen. I know that you keep saying it's Bernie's Book Bank, but it takes a lot of different people.
Well, your staff is amazing. I had Nikki Bonamart at my house today with her husband. My wife's birthday is Wednesday. So Saturday night, I'm having her husband, who's a chef, cook dinner for my family, 16 people. So they were in surveying the kitchen today, and we were discussing the walk as one. Yeah, very cool.
Very, very cool. Chicago Rilla says, weekend at Bernie's. So you'll have to do an event. I don't know if there's any trademark rules.
Well,
that's
I got an event. I hate to pitch, but
no, pitch away.
I hate to pitch, but we got an event coming up December 11th. It'll be we're going to do it in person. It's another event that Cap is included in because we won't let him go. So we're going to do the Patrick Manley Award, the 3rd annual. We're going to do it in person and also simulcast it. So Braggs was a part of it last year. A kid from Alabama won, Fletcher, who went to the Panthers. Just a remarkable young man. But we're going to do it again this year, and we're going to do it in person. It might be a smaller crowd than normal, but we will do it in person. We had the first year, we had Peanut Tillman and Olin Kreutz out, and Olin threatened to kill me in front of 200 of my closest friends, which Cap's laughing because Cap was like, listen, I wouldn't poke the bear too much. You poked him just enough. I would leave it at that because I was riling him up. But, yeah, we would love to have you guys out. We'd love to have, all your followers come. Is there a touchdown?
And the Patrick
Cole Beasley, by the way.
And the Patrick Manley Award is by far the coolest trophy there is. It's a mold. I wish I knew I would have known we were going to bring this up, because it's a mold of Patrick Manley's hands snapping a football. So it's just his hands, a quarter of his arms, and then the football. And, if you compare it to all the different trophies that are given out across all sports, to me, it is the coolest one. So it's growing each year. Again, another event that I really appreciate you guys letting me be involved in. I look forward to it this year, seeing who's the finalists, and last year it was fun to be there. Cap didn't recognize me in my suit. Normally I'm
like, who's that guy over there?
I thought somebody snuck in to sell us insurance, but it was my man Braggs.
It was
selling you a bunch of bullshit. That's what I do at Braggs in the stands. But for anybody, final thoughts here for Bernie's Book Bank. For anybody that wants, you see the .com at the bottom, berniesbookbank.org. And then this is the website when you come into it, and kind of what you can see and what you can do and learn about where your donation dollars go to and how it all works. It's a great cause. Very honored to be a small part of it, and appreciate it very much, of being involved. And I'll do everything I can in my power to help, elevate and put a spotlight on you guys, and just continue to do it. And, like I said, 24 more miles. We'll see next year. So I got it right. 2 years ago, I felt like I rode a horse to California. This year, my legs were fine. The only thing was I'm going to have to get on this shoe swerve with you guys because I had blisters on my feet. We did all get wet because there was waves crashing on. I think that might have been a part of it. So now I got the soreness down because I stretched and I did all the proper things to be ready for the walk, but now I got to get my feet right.
So 2 things. You got to go with Cap and I to Fleet Feet because they're the absolute best.
Yeah, they're amazing.
And then 2, are we allowed to tell everybody that you didn't walk the full route?
Braggs is on a fucking bicycle.
Exactly. Thanks, Cap.
For like a mile, all right? Listen, your helper. You got helpers that are coming along with us, and she was on a bike, and I'm trying to be a gentleman. She didn't want to ride anymore, and I was like, I'll take the bike. And I tried to walk with it for a minute, and it felt like I just needed to ride it for a second.
Yeah, so full disclosure, Braggs walked about 19.6 miles.
It was all in my heart, though. I was walking in my heart.
He's such a gentleman. Such a gentleman.
You're
Take
incredible,
that,
Braggs.
Take that, says Fitter. Real quick, Aaron. We had this giveaway that we prolonged here for a month. Tried to get as many dollars in donations into it. Why don't we announce the winners? We have 3 jerseys to give away very quickly here. We have a Dan Hampton signed jersey, a Mike Ditka signed jersey, and a Jimbo Covert signed jersey that a lot of people entered into. And we have the announcements to the winners. Now, I don't have any drum rolls, so I'll just let Aaron read them off, and then we'll pull up the names as we go. So take it away, Aaron.
Sure. So thanks to everybody that entered and donated. We were real super proud of what we were able to do with Braggs and with Bernie's Book Bank. So thanks to everybody again. So we'll start with Dan Hampton. Dan Hampton is going to Mr. Greg Elkin.
Mr. Greg Elkin at GElkin24. You are the winner of the Dan Hampton jersey. So we'll move on to the next one here.
Mike Ditka. Mike Ditka is going to Mike Whitlaw.
I wanted that to go to Darrin.
We'll send Darrin something for sure.
Yeah, so, I got Darrin.
So a little Mike on Mike action. Mike Ditka, Mike Whitlaw, you get the Mike Ditka, the coach at 333 Hollywood. You get the Mike Ditka signed jersey here. And then finally, we have the newly inducted Hall of Famer, Jimbo Covert, who Collectors Cave just did a signing with here recently. Why don't you take that away, Aaron?
Jimbo Covert is going to David Snedeker.
David Snedeker at Dave Sned. Congratulations to all 3 of you. You are the lucky winners of the Bernie's Book Bank Collectors Cave giveaway. Make sure you go to www.thecollectorscave.com for all your sports memorabilia needs, and look out for all their public signings coming up, and you can get an autograph from some of your favorite Chicago sports athletes, including Thomas Jones, coming up November 7th, which we'll talk about here in a little bit once we cut these guys loose. So again, Darrin, David Kaplan, appreciate you guys a lot. Appreciate your time tonight, but more importantly, I appreciate your friendship and everything you do. I try to do as much as I can for you guys, but it pales in comparison for what you guys do for me, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot.
Well, honored to be on with you tonight. Darrin and I become very, very good friends and love that dude dearly. So, and thank you for the jerseys and everything all of you guys have done. It's just an honor to be on with you.
Of course, anytime.
I would echo Cap's thoughts. You're our guy, Braggs. Appreciate you, Aaron. Really appreciate you with the jerseys. Maybe we get a Yurko signed jersey in there next year and get some green and gold up in there. But
oh boy,
Cap, you're my man. I'll see you up in Oshkosh. Okay.
I look forward to seeing you very soon.
All right.
All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll let you get back to the football, and we'll catch up here real soon.
Braggs, I go to bed before 9 o'clock. I stayed up for you, dude.
Hey, you do. You get up early, so I appreciate it.
4:45 a.m. So
I know, and that's why
when you're wiping donut crumbs off your belly, just think about me.
Hey, it's Taco Bell. Thank you very much. No, I'm kidding. But hey, I appreciate it. And I know that you are extremely busy. That's why I try not to ask too much of you. So I appreciate what you can do for me when you can. So we'll see you guys here real soon for the Patrick Manley Award giveaway. Have a good night, Kaplan. We'll all be tuned into the Cap and J Hood Show weekdays, Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. on ESPN 1000. And always watch David Kaplan with all the former Chicago Bears on NBC Sports Chicago for the postgame show.
Yeah, by the way, Lance Briggs going at it with Eddie Jackson, so tune in on Sunday.
Yeah, hey, Eddie Jackson could learn a thing or two from a guy like Lance Briggs, so he needs to have his ears up. He took the Olin Kreutz criticism well. He took the Olin Kreutz criticism well, and now he's going sideways here with Lance. He needs to heed their advice. I think it all comes from a place of love from Lance.
All right.
Hey, we'll take
good. Darrin, we'll take
boys.
That.
See you guys. Absolutely.
David Kaplan and Darrin Utynek from Bernie's Book Bank. A lot of fun there. Congratulations to the winners of the giveaway. Thank you, Aaron, for your support in our walk for Bernie's Book Bank, and the walk is One Chicago. It's been a lot of fun 2 years running, and I appreciate your involvement in it. And we'll just continue to try to snowball this each year and see where it goes. But it's all about trying to support underprivileged kids in the Chicagoland area as best we can. So for you to help me only amplifies what I try to do, because I can only do so much. It takes a village, as they say, and you've become part of my village, and I appreciate all your support with this and everything at Brags of the Stands in general.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a blast, man. We've gotten close quickly, and we've been able to do some pretty cool things, and I can't wait for the upcoming months of what we could do when we put our heads together. This has been a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, no, it's you never know where this is going to take us, but if it's only just this, I've been very surprised in the just over a little over a year we've done this, the impact you can have. We did last year when the Bears made the playoffs, we needed help from the Niners, and I asked George Kittle, you win this game, name the charity. And he said, the University of Steadfast Children's Hospital in Iowa. We've got big Iowa fans. Yeah. Tal Carcino in the chat. And
speaking of Iowa,
yeah.
Boiler up, right?
That's right. Boiler up, Iowa. Yeah, we had some people talking crap about Purdue here in the chat last time. Not so funny anymore.
Not so funny anymore.
Not so funny anymore indeed. But, to that point, we raised a lot of money just for that in that one little singular moment. Sure. I try to support my guy, Dave Mays. He does a lot of work with, kids with cancer, the Versus Cancer charity, Versus Cancer Foundation. They help, kids that have, brain tumors in kids with kids. It's tough. And all these little things can go a long way if everybody just comes together and tries to help and do little parts that they can. And that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to continue to try to help and support all those causes and any more. People bring them to my deck. Danny Parkins over the summer asked me to help, they were trying to turn a grocery store or a liquor store into a grocery store in a underdeveloped area in Chicago. I'm going to help. So if you reach out to me, more than likely you're going to get the help from me as much as I can. I can only do so much with the platform I have, but that's what I'm going to do when I can and what I can. So that's that when it goes like that. We got Crystal in the chat. How we doing today, Crystal? Childhood friend. Miss you too. You're enjoying Florida though, so I don't feel bad for you. We're up in the cold here, although it's still kind of warm. It was a beautiful day today.
It was nice today.
Yeah, she's in Florida with my pops down in Florida. So nice to have you jump in the chat here. And shout out to you guys as well, Chicago Rilla and everybody else for hanging out. Had the chat was going crazy. I'm trying to keep up, pull up comments, try to sift through it. Sometimes there's all these crazy comments. So you're trying to sift through them all while you're going and doing the interview, pulling up the video and everything else. And it's just been firing away, tonight.
With you got an engaging group. That's always a good time,
Yeah. Well, and shout out to my guy, Trey. He couldn't make it on tonight. He said he might try depending. He was at dinner with some friends. If he got home in time, he was going to hop in. But Trey's a big part of what we do here. And, he's kind of, he's a big part of the community we built here. And all these people you see here in the chat are formulated from the Trey Toon Show. A lot of them, we got a few people that started out on the Brags and the Stand side, and then we've merged, and it's become a community that I truly love. All these guys, we've had a few meet and greets, had some friends over to the house to watch football. And everybody's a good guy, including Will, the craziest of the bunch. So, Pat Black, brick by brick. That is one of my favorite sayings. Obviously, as a bricklayer, you see Pat Black there in between Trey and I. There's the face to the Twitter name. And then, of course, Christopher Black, who I forgot to ask Kaplan about. Christopher told me to share this picture with David Kaplan, but we didn't get around to it, because we were just spending so much time crying and miserating about the Chicago Bears. But reunited, and it feels so good. He was giving me shit right out the gate. Christopher Black at the tailgate, as he always does. My buddy Chris always busting my chops, but it was a good time. Let's go! Let's go! See, look how happy we are. So there it was. It was good to share a drink and shoot some shit with Christopher and Pat Black in the tailgate. So, hey, that's what this is all about here at Brags in the Stands. It's just about people coming together and having some fun, talking sports and trying to talk about whatever else we are doing up here. So, I think Will is going to pop in. Aaron, you are more than welcome to stay as long as you want. So it's totally up to you. I'm
going to go put my kid to bed so that I can go to bed.
Feel free to log off whenever you want. I wanted you to be involved in the interview tonight with Cap and Aaron Cap and Darrin. And, like I said, you were a big part of everything we were trying to do and wanted you guys to meet, and mingle here so we could, continue this relationship because I know what you're doing over at Collector's Cave. And this is something, like I said, we have formed a good friendship and partnership here, but more importantly, a friendship. And that's what I like about you and Mike is that you guys, yes, it's a business, but it's bigger than business. Like Darrin was just talking about, it's to truly grow it in a genuine way is connecting with people. It's not just about the dollars and cents. And I could feel those vibes from you guys in the first meeting we had. And so, that's why I think we connect in a big way because I don't care about the money here at Brags in the Stands. I don't make a dollar off of what I do here. I'm living for the experience, living for the moment and trying to give back as best I can. And I know you guys are kind of on that same wavelength.
Yeah. I mean, Mike and I both have day jobs, right? I mean, the Collector's Cave is, I want to call it a hobby because it's a lot more work than a hobby, but we've always said that, it wasn't about the money for us either. In fact, it's not even, about the athletes. A lot of the times we got together and said that we wanted to put events together, right? We wanted to have people come in, have a great time. And, oh, by the way, so-and-so athlete or personality is there. So we always make it about the customer experience first. And I kind of, I think about it like that's how Barstool Sports got their start, right?
Right.
They're putting on bar events, right? And, oh, by the way, there's this crazy guy, Dave Portnoy, who's fun to talk to and whatever, right? So we always said that we don't take ourselves seriously. And, we have a good platform as well to be able to team up with people like you and Kaplan and all those guys. And we love it. I mean, we have a good time with it and we never make it work. It's not work for us. It's a good time.
That's what it's all about. Again, if anybody wants, visit www.thecollectorscave.com for all your sports memorabilia needs and be on the lookout for public signings and meet and greets with your favorite Chicago sports athletes and athletes all over the country, to be honest. And they have a Jeff Blum. They just recently added another White Sox to the Jeff Blum signing. Maybe you can help me out, Aaron, because I'm not the Sox fan here.
Yeah, no. So we have Jeff Blum. Obviously, we added Chris Widger, who's the backup catcher. And so these are guys that they're tough signatures to get. So all those team pieces that people have with all the Canercos and so on and so forth. These are the guys that are real tough to get. So
right. And then of course, Thomas Jones, a lot of Bears fans here in the chat, November 7th. Why don't you tell them a little bit about how they can get involved in that?
Yeah. So it actually, and you introduced me to the Bears tailgate and I got introduced to Raphael over at Sovereign in Plainfield. We just started kind of spitballing, and he said, man, I see you guys are doing all these athletes. And I said, well, you want one at your restaurant? I got Thomas Jones ready to go. And he said, yeah, let's do it. So, we got Sunday, November 7th from 12 to 1:30. Thomas Jones will be at Sovereign in Plainfield. It's a really cool spot. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's an old train repair depot that they converted into a restaurant.
Okay.
So it's like that rustic, old looking wood, everything. It's really cool. And Thomas Jones is excited about it. He hasn't done a signing in like 8 years.
Right.
So he's a big actor now. He's doing Luke Cage and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So he's excited. So we're excited to have him. And then those are the two, the first week of November. And then the second week of November will be your probably favorite signing that we got coming up, which is Aramis Ramirez and Miguel Montero. and that'll be November 13th at Catch 22 in Maryville. So a lot of people forget how much Miggy contributed to that World Series team, I think.
Yeah, two of the biggest hits in Chicago Cubs history.
Yeah.
The Game 1 NLCS Grand Slam, and then of course his Game 7, tacking on an insurance run, a much needed one in a crazy extra inning game in only Cubs fashion. So very lucky they got those contributions from Miggy Montero. I know my guy Crawley, who handed him the ring in the ring ceremonies the next year, is excited to go to that. So some big signings coming up. We're going to be doing live shows from Bragg's in the Stands at the Thomas Jones signing at Sovereign in Plainfield. I believe Trey Tunes is going to be joining me for that show as well. So we're going to try to have a lot of fun. I know a lot of people in the chat come to these meet and greets, so I'm hoping, and I encourage everyone that is in the chat, please come to the Sovereign restaurant, and check out Thomas Jones and check us out and see what we're trying to do there. And then of course, Catch 22, you see over my shoulder here, the Jimmy McMahon jersey. We did our first ever live show with 2 tornadoes outside, with Jim McMahon signing inside. And it was a lot of fun. It was a real thrill and adrenaline rush to do all that. And so we did the live signing at the Dan Hampton signing that you had in Michigan. So it's been a lot of fun to do live shows. Yeah. Nice little curveball trying to hit that. And I'm trying to hit one out of the park. I've hit singles, I feel like, both times. So I'm trying to at least get extra base hits here for the next couple live shows. Very excited for Thomas Jones. You're right. He is a really nice guy. I got a hoodie coming for him. He's a big he always says bear TF down, which means bear the fuck down. So we got a hoodie coming for him. And I gotta hook you guys up too. I gotta get some Brags in the Stand swag for you guys as well.
I need some swag, man.
So let me know what you want, because we got a lot of different things in the store, and I'll hook you and Mike up with that as well. So be on the lookout for those signings. I'm going to continue to promote those, and I'm going to encourage all the people in the chat to show up. So Aaron, I'll cut you loose. Let you get the kiddos to bed. Thank you again for coming on tonight, helping out with the interview, and again, thank you for all your support and your friendship. Appreciate. I'm glad we've crossed paths for sure.
Absolutely. Likewise, brother. I appreciate it, and you have a great night. All right.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
Sleep off the Sunday hangover. I'm gonna try to.
I was worthless today. I ain't even gonna lie.
We'll see how long Will keeps me on. Yeah, I'm too hungover for this shit. Later. So, without further ado, participation trophies for everybody in the stands. We got our guy Will Dutan in the stands, handing out participation trophies. Had to come on. He just had to come on. He told me, he's like, I'm done coming
Bears,
on.
baby. Chicago Bears, baby.
I can't come on the shows anymore. I don't want to come on no more. I got to take it. And now he's 2 for 2 since he said that. He's got to come on and start venting. So, fire away. What participation trophies are you giving away today?
Well, at the beginning right now, I just want to give a shout out to all my guys on the Trade Tune shows. First one, the casinos. They're, I know they hate me. Bottom of my heart, I always try to be fair with everybody. Black, white, Hispanic, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I always try to give everybody a fair take of anything that it is. You know what I mean? I just want to make that clear.
Mm-hmm.
Also want to give a shout out, to my boy Taco Grease, Feeder, my boy Ghost. Don't forget about Trey Tunes, man. He's freaking unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? And he's letting you use the channel. And also I want to shout out to Ashlu, Beck and John, Revolution. I mean, everybody in there that knows me there, and the P Black, everybody, you know what I'm saying? And also to the University of Chicago Hospital there. Here's where my wife is, where she works. So, just disappointed, and I've been saying, and shout out to Collection Dave too. I think he might recognize me because if he goes to the bar over there by 59 to 126, we kind of go a little bit there with my friends from time to time.
Well, hold on real quick, Will. I just noticed this. Like I said, the chat's moving fast. We've got Riley Roberts in the chat. So Riley wants to ask a question. I'm a little nervous. We'll see where this goes.
Well, she has that question.
Yes, I see the profile picture.
All right, go ahead.
We're taking a.
I don't have hair. I don't have hair.
That's the first question. No political opinions on this show for the most part.
Well, the thing is about
maybe it's a sports question. Let's
you know what? Okay, before that, let me why I got into this political, the whole thing.
Well, don't go crazy on the politics.
I know, but I just want you to know why I got too into this is because my mom's business in Minneapolis was burned. It was burned down.
Your what?
My mom's business. She lives in Minneapolis, and the whole thing. With this freaking asshole racist dude, like he's a freaking killer. The guy that put his, I'm a trained dude. If you put a knee on somebody's neck, that's not how you do it for the whole time. He's a freaking killer. He should be put to spend the rest of his life in jail. I went through that. I remember, man, in my neighborhood, I went through that. I was going to work. And they will just arrest you for no reason. I went through that. Everybody knows that. I talk about it here with the Trey Toon Show. But, we have to walk above it. So the thing is now is that I'm just really upset. I got really upset because my mom's business got, we work hard for it. I help her out. And her business got burned out. I'll send you the pictures. You can post it up.
It'd be kind of tricky.
We don't need to. You know what I mean? We don't need to do that. But like for all of us, for all of you guys, you think that I'm here because it was a magic thing? Like, no, man. To blame somebody, yeah, man. There's some racist motherfuckers out there, like Jake Gruden. But there's also some racist guys that are still higher, like Watson. Like you have a daughter, bro. Does it mean we know everything about harassing a woman or anything? No, we don't know. Right. We don't know that, bro. We're men, we're just trying to figure out what's right or what's wrong. So don't get mad at me at there, people. All I'm trying to do is just try to be fair. Try to be fair, man. I have much love for all of you guys.
Well, we appreciate it. We got love for you. We respect where you've come from and how you got there. Well, we bust your balls a lot here, but we certainly respect.
Oh yeah, I like busting balls to everybody, bro.
Well, we want to give you as many participation trophies as we can. This is great work here by Will, and we're gonna stay on the tracks here at Braggs in the Stands.
All right, go ahead. Whoever was gonna ask you that question, and
I thought they wanted a sports question, and I get the picture. We'll fire.
It's okay. So ask. It's okay. I will answer the question.
So I thought they'd have a sports question, but I gave them an opportunity. I haven't seen anything in the chat, so maybe they're gone, which is fine. But I was just I sometimes when we have new viewers,
what did they ask me? Sorry,
viewers are being ignored. So if they had a sports question,
what did they ask me though? Just to be fair, what did they ask me? Whoever was asking me a political question. Did you know?
Nobody was asking. Nobody.
Oh, okay. Nobody was.
No, the person is in the chat and just said, "I have a question." I saw it in the chat. I pulled the comment up so they could see that I read it, and I was going to answer whatever question that was. But I assumed it was going to be a sports question, but they're gone. And like I said, the profile picture. It's just a profile picture. So it's just like anybody else's, like Bear Truth 9. So like Bear Truth 9's in the chat. They're
I love AOC, man. She's for me.
Whatever. Like I said, we're not doing the politics here. All right.
Well, I know. Yeah, okay.
The politics here on Braggs and Stands. But I'm just trying to explain that when you pull up a comment, there's a profile picture attached, or like Big Dollar Dave just has one of the Twitch icons. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Matt Mahalski, my good friend, has a profile picture of their family. So this person had a goofy political, profile picture.
It's okay though. We cannot ignore everybody.
No,
we have to.
I'm open to any kind of conversation.
Yeah, we cannot ignore. If we get in the type of world that we ignore everybody, then we don't become nothing. We just become a person of our own circle. That's it.
And I don't judge either side of the political aisle. My pops or the guys at work would think I'm some death-starved liberal because I'm not a Republican. But at the same time, I don't consider myself a Democrat or a liberal. I just vote for who I believe in. So I have no qualms with, Republic. If somebody was in the chat that had a Trump profile picture, I'm not going to kick them out of the chat. I voted Democrat. Full disclosure, like I said, I don't want to get into politics, but I'll be honest. I'll tell my truth here. But I'm not, I know some people.
Bro, you moved to Indiana. That tells me everything.
Well, yeah, I live in Indiana, so I vote Democrat, and that don't do shit in Indiana. It's just throwing away my vote every time. I might as well just burn it in the trash, But it is what it is. That's the way our political system's set up, and you still do your job and get out and vote, or if
and I'm a Republican. I said from the whole time, I always voted Republican. I'm not gonna lie from right here, and I'm not gonna tell you that I'm a Democrat. I voted Republican. I serve under Republican, so and
no judgment. Like I said, I work me and my pops have gotten into some very healthy debates. The guys at work, we have very healthy.
My wife is a Democrat. She's a big Democrat.
Every day, at work, or maybe not as much lately, but we have had some healthy debates at work. And, that's how, just like I was saying earlier about sports and music bringing people together, politics has divided this country so much and everything else that's going on. But at the same time, we have to understand that we have differences, and we have to learn to coexist and respect people's differences. And, if you want to have a conversation or a debate about things you don't agree with, you just try to keep them respectful and be civil. And you'll find more times than not that most people have more common ground than not, but you have to talk. And if you don't talk, then you've already lost the battle.
I'm not reading the chat. I don't know what they're going nuts or anything. I just want to also say, like, sometimes I speak. I'm a really emotional guy. I speak.
Oh, really? We've never noticed that. You're emotional. Really? We didn't.
And I just want to say to the people, God damn it.
And we didn't know you were emotional, Will. Thank you. Breaking news, everyone. Go ahead, Will. Well, you finish your thought. You promised we weren't going late. Now, Pat Black has already set.
Well, I'm not drinking bourbon today. I'm not drinking bourbon.
Pat Black's already set the over under at like 2 hours. I think I saw earlier in the chat.
And my guy P Black, man, he wants me to if he was for him, I can just be talking all day.
Hey, and we got to meet.
I gotta go.
Trey and I got to meet Pat in the tailgate lot.
You see that my background is different right now, right? My Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, you got a different one. You got the music now. What'd you think of the Pat Black face reveal here?
That was pretty. Oh man,
there he is in between me and Trey.
One question: is that P Black's? No, that's not the Jack Daniels from he's saying, right?
No.
It would have been epic if they would have checked from your Jack Daniels. You know what I mean? Make peace.
Yeah, they had Jack actually at their tailgate.
Yeah,
I didn't take.
I'm gonna show up to one of those tailgates.
You got it.
I'm gonna show up.
The Bears keep losing games, and tickets are gonna be real cheap in December.
Don't need to, man. I actually been to those games, but I've been in the suites.
Oh, big time, Will. Hollywood, Will.
I just keep it quiet. I just been out there, but because you know why though, I know me. If I see you, Brax, we probably gonna stay in a hotel and keep fucking drinking this fucking day.
I didn't know where you were going with that at first, when you said we're gonna stay in a hotel and keep fucking, and then I was
no.
Like, finish the sentence, and you said keep drinking.
Keep going. The next fucking day.
I was nervous there.
I will
because I know you're looking for It's like
I will
every week
invite
we
you.
ride the roller coaster of whether or not we're going to spoon.
I mean, I'm going to tell you the story. Why do I have these tickets? When I was a young guy, I used to work at Smith and Wolniski. I don't know if that restaurant. You know that restaurant, the Smith and Wolniski, right on the State Street and by the river, by the House of Blues.
Right.
You know that when they make the movie, The Breakup.
Yeah.
I used to take the trash out there. I moved myself up, and I used to help clean up they used to butcher their own meat in a room there, and I used to clean everything up. And I had another part time in that summer. I'm trying to make money, man. I'm trying to get the hell out of the hood. I'm trying to keep myself busy. And then the chief chef of Smith and Wolniski walked into this place used to call sourdough Bodine, San Francisco Bodine, and Michigan Avenue in Randolph. He walks in and I recognize him. I'm like, "You're my boss at my other job." He's like, "You have everything for free." And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, you have everything for free." I'm like, "Okay." And at that time I was barely learning the language, so I'm like freaking 16 years old. He's like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Okay, come work with me. I'm gonna teach you how to be a butcher." And my life changed because he taught me a lot of stuff. It's boring. I know I'm boring the whole audience, but it's just little things that if you're nice, if you're like a hard worker, I mean, that doesn't happen nowadays. I don't think being a hard worker nowadays, it will pay you off as much as like 20 years ago. But it's just something to tell you a story, and why now this chef opened up this bunch of restaurants in Chicago. The Chicago Cat. I know the chief chef in Chicago Cat.
Oh, wow.
I know a bunch of guys in Chicago, they all know me. When I get there, they think that I'm a millionaire walking in there. But no, man, I'm just a regular freaking guy.
You are just a regular, and you're our regular freaking guy.
When I went to Trey to Jameson's in Orland Park, I knew the owner. And as soon as I walk in there, and you can ask Trey, this is not making me. As soon as I walked in, everybody, even Waddle was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" But I knew the guy, and it's just things like that. Little things like that can help you propel, like little things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Hard work pays off, my friend.
You know what I mean? So
hey, let's not go too long here because I want to eat. I want to eat and go to bed, but I will give you the floor for a minute.
Well, you already had this. I know he.
Tell us what you're triggered. That's your segment, Will. Triggered with Will. So, you already went through the Gruden thing. Well, let's move on from that because we can go all night about Gruden.
Well, this is my day. Watson. I didn't drink yesterday, nothing today. Whatever.
Well, that's good.
A little White Claw. White Claw. Look at that.
That's drinking. Will, when you say you're not drinking and then you're drinking a White Claw, that is in fact drinking.
I said I didn't drink yesterday.
I see. I drank a lot of Jack yesterday.
I saw that. I showed my wife. I'm like, look at my friend over here, how he does. He's like, fuck.
Normally I don't drink at the games because of what I try to do at the games with the coverage, so to speak, and I just go in right away at 10 o'clock, 2 hours before kick, and all the games have been at noon. So I go right in at 10, and I haven't really drank for any of these games. And then I had friends from out of town come to the game. Shout out to my guys, Phil and Stephanie Atoshin.
Bro, awesome pictures, bro. I love the pictures, bro. Brad, you know what? You're killing it, man. And in Twitter, the pictures that you take and everything they're freaking cool, man. I'm literally envious of your life, bro.
Well, hey, I owe a lot of it to my guy Phil there over my shoulder there. When I just started doing this a few years ago and putting it on Twitter, I've always posted pictures and videos on Instagram. And then one year I decided to start doing it on Twitter, and it really took off in 2018. And Phil, who's in this picture with his lovely wife, Steph, Phil reaches out to me. and I do one of his podcasts, and after the show, he's telling me like, Braggs, you got to do this stuff, man. Do it with me, and he was really encouraging me, and I didn't really take it seriously. I was like, who the fuck wants to listen to me, man? Who cares about what I do? Like, yeah, the videos were cool at camp. I got highlights and touchdowns, and
you got a lot of knowledge in football, Braggs.
I don't really. I'm just a fan. Just like you. You say when you walk in Chicago, you're just another guy. And this is something me and Cap, behind closed doors that we talk about. He's always pushing me to not call myself a fan, that I've elevated, but I don't want to be that. I truly want to just stay in my fan lane because I don't have some superior knowledge. I had this Andrew guy mad at me on Twitter today about my Bears takes, and he's like, "You're right, Greg. You're never wrong." That is not the way I want to portray myself, because I am wrong a lot of times.
Exactly.
Your friend, little Kev, will be the first one to tell you that I'm wrong.
You know what? It's his birthday today. He's probably. I told him I'm coming on with you. I'm like, "Happy birthday, little Kev."
Happy birthday, little Kev.
You and him were nice the other day. You guys were nice in the chat. The Twitch chat.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you and him started talking. Yes, it was you.
It was not me. I was not in the chat.
Somebody that saw that communication, please.
I was not in the chat talking with. Anyway, happy birthday, little Kev. But he'd be the first one to tell you that I'm wrong all the time with my Bears takes. And I don't want to portray myself as a know-it-all. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm just another fan of the stands with stupid opinions. I wear my sports passion on my sleeve after we get our faces kicked in by the Packers.
How can you say you have the stupid opinions when we have a negligent coach?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody has a stupid opinions.
Well,
you have a rhythm. Like that. This is like I was watching the game, and Justin Field has the rhythm of throwing the ball, and then he has to stop everything after 3 conversions. And then a second down, and I think it was in 6. Like he was driving on the field. Everybody stopped, bro. Like, you never see what. Just trust the kid. Like, Nagy has to stop everything. He's like, this is what I want to do, bro. The dude is clueless. Like, they had a chance to go 14-7,
right?
And he literally just stopped the whole. Everything, and then before the play, he took a timeout.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
He sucks. Nagy sucks. I don't want him back, but these are the cards we're dealt with right now, and it's tough as a fan. We have the Fire Matt Nagy or We Riot shirts that you can get on our Braggs of the Stand store right now, and we've made our. I've made my opinion perfectly clear.
I see you getting a lot of fire on Twitter for that too. You're almost getting canceled because you're going to riot.
Yes, people love that it's like become a catchphrase, and it's pretty funny. It took on a life of its own. I've kind of chilled on the We Riot stuff here for the last week because it was getting out of hand, but it is funny. And it is all just tongue in cheek, but I have made my opinions felt on Matt Nagy. But then it's tough because then you want them to win. Well, if they win, then that's good for Matt Nagy. But long term, maybe it's best that Matt Nagy is no longer the head coach of the Bears for the future of Justin Fields. So, it's a conundrum. It's the same conundrum we had when it was, whether you want Dalton to succeed, because if the more he succeeds, then Fields doesn't get on the field. Now it's, you want Fields to succeed, but the more he succeeds, the more Matt Nagy's going to stay around. And we all have a lot of questions on whether or not he can get the job done, grooming Justin Fields into maybe the quarterback that he's shaking hands with. Well, and so it's not easy. It's a tough spot, but it'll decide itself out by the end of the season.
See, like Cap does. Like, this is the thing. I'm not judging like your boy Cap, your friend, the human being that he is.
Right.
When I talk about this is about sports. This is not about anybody's being able to donate or whatever. Like, as I donated your cause. It was awesome. Appreciate it. Man, you come and tell me here, like, Cap had, like, that's what I wanted to come on. I wanted to ask Cap. I was like, what was Pace telling you? Because had meetings with Pace a couple of times.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they have margaritas. Like I have like places that people already know. They had margarita. It was a Mexican place. We don't want to name that place because a lot of people go there. I know, no, Northside, even that's like Sylvie's and everybody's place over there that live in up there at the north. And what is he asking him? What is he asking? What type of mentality do you have? But now, like Cap literally is the type of guy that he just blocks everyone, and he's throwing, like he's canceling Ryan Pace. Like he's totally saying, okay, Ryan Pace, boom. But now I see Cap, he's finally saying stuff, talking about Ted Phillips. He's the main guy. If we cannot sell this team, Ted Phillips is the one that hires and fires.
Right.
And then George is the one that approves and not approves.
Right.
So then what are we doing here? What are we doing here, Brax?
You know, it's a flawed structure. It's not perfect. You know, you got to hope for a little luck at this point because they've proven time and again that they can't get by, you know, with the way it's set up. I mean, Bears haven't won a Super Bowl since 1985. Although it's not easy to win a Super Bowl, it feels
I was barely born in that fucking year.
Right. And you know, I mean, unless Tom Brady's your quarterback, it doesn't seem like many other teams get a shot at winning a Super Bowl. So it's not easy to achieve that goal. But at the same time, the Bears don't put themselves in many positions to even be there and get a chance. You know, they have made the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years, but you know, albeit backdooring their way into it last year. So there's a lot of questions that are going to take a long time to be answered. But, you know, the hope is that they can move on from Matt Nagy and get a new head coach to truly groom this guy. I mean, to try to pipe dream hope that Nagy's going to figure it out in his 4th year.
But you don't see anything. You see like one of the first plays, right? Boom, you know, it goes strip, you know, they go and score. There's nothing else.
Right.
Like that's what I said to you when I was
that's like every Bears game we've ever seen, right? They come out the gates hot. The first drive is a scripted drive, and they're able to get into the end zone and they score a touchdown, and you're like, okay, this is literally every Packers game my whole life. They take an early lead, then all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers responds. He kicks us in the teeth, and then before we have one drive and then 3/4 of it.
You see you see right there. Can you rewind that a little bit?
I can rewind it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right there. Stop it right there.
Well,
right?
I can't stop it.
Right okay. You see 50. You see Roquan hesitating. He should have already been there.
Well, 44 is the one that gets pumped.
You mean to tell me that
well, watch Aaron Rodgers.
10 minutes. Look at that. You see
how you're talking about Roquan giving up at the end?
Yeah, like he look right here. Boom. You have 8. You see, the only guy that raced to is number 4. Who's that?
Eddie Jackson. Whoever.
Eddie Jackson. He's like, this is the first time he hassled. Like they should have been already there, like watching. Like who cares now? You know, right. He's already next to the end zone. You just have to block. Everybody is just watching. Dude, that's just absurd, dude. And then he gives the
I own you
motherfucker. Dude, that hurt me to the bones, but I was like, that's what we deserve. That's what we deserve.
Yep. I mean, he let us have it, and hopefully it stirs the Bears up enough to show some pride and play harder. You know, beating Aaron Rodgers.
But the problem is that they're tired. Like the defense is tired to keep playing.
Absolutely.
You know,
but like I said, this is every Packers game I've ever watched because then of course we're down to score, and then all of a sudden the Bears come to life, and you're like, where was this all game? You know, you say that, and how many times have we said that? And it's just not enough.
Right? But I see a little difference in Justin. He's got a little more athletic. He fits. He's more poison, poise. But
yeah, he's got poise.
I mean, like it's just like I don't know. When is he going to change? I mean,
well, Justin's the light at the end of the tunnel, and you hope that they can find the right coach. We all thought Matt Nagy was going to be the right coach, and it didn't work out that way, or it hasn't up to this point. There's still season left, but it doesn't look great. They're probably going to get their face kicked in against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Friday. We'll discuss that as the week continues. But Tom Brady's
going to be ugly. Tom
Brady's just like Aaron Rodgers, so the chances that they come into that one and win, even though they did upset Tampa Bay last year, be hard to imagine them doing it back. I
will play Nick Foles, man.
Yeah, right.
He's the Brady Terminator. Eli Manning and Nick Foles, man. They're the Terminator of Brady. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, like how long is the Bears defense gonna hold their end? I mean, you have an offense that only scores 14 to like 20 points to win.
Right. No,
and last week was like a miracle. And when they were playing, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, look at the Bears and Khalil Mack is the man." The defense. You know who the wins that we have right now. The wins that we have right now.
Beck and John said that you need to grab a pen and start writing on the screen like John Madden.
I love JDS and Becky, man. They're awesome.
Yeah, they are great.
And so so last week, right? They win against the Raiders, and everybody is like, "Oh man, the Bears defense for real." Who did they win the week before? The Lions. Then the last week was the last week that they won. Hold on. They won
the
against
Raiders.
The Raiders. No, before that was the
Lions.
Lions, and then the Bengals.
And the Bengals.
They should have lost that freaking game, bro, against the Bengals.
Okay. Well,
because they had to. I mean, because this guy, come on, bro. I saw that coming, and this is a problem. If we don't realize these type of things, then we're never gonna advance. If we're always gonna be, oh yeah, but we can
realize what that they should have beat the Bengals. You're kind of going off the rails here.
Well, no, because the Bengals should have won against the Bears on that.
Wait. They didn't.
But the defense is turning up. So you know what it hurts me right now? That the defense is really trying to play like that. This is what it hurts me the most. The defense is trying. They want to win. Quinn is having the year of his life. Mack is having the year of his life. Everybody's playing. The secondary is still not tackling, but they're still trying to take balls. But they're still playing. They're like number 3 right now. They're ranked number 3 at the NFL.
Right.
That's why it hurts me. We have this defense, and we have no offense at all. When has the offense win us games, Brax? When has the offense win us any game?
I know. And now the new excuse. There's always an excuse, and now the excuse this year is that they're trying to figure it out with a rookie quarterback. And my gripe about that is, he maybe would be more polished and ahead of schedule in his development because, yes, he's young and he's a rookie. He's going to make rookie mistakes. But this is what I was trying to push back on Kaplan about. Yeah, I understand Matt Nagy believed in his plan of starting Andy Dalton, but there were a lot of people that vehemently disagreed. And at the end of the day, yes, Andy Dalton got hurt. You can't predict injury, but it proved out. I mean, they wasted all that time in preseason at training camp giving first team snaps and reps to Andy Dalton, and now he's not the starting quarterback. And even, unless he was going to play lights out, which is not being realistic as we fight over that phrase here on Brags in the Stands, that was never a realistic thought regardless of injury. So you should have had the foresight to know that eventually Justin Fields was going to play this year. So you needed to build some chemistry with him when the bullets weren't live.
Yeah.
And now I'm hearing Matt Nagy at the press conference today saying, well, Allen Robinson and him are learning what Fields likes to do on a scramble drill. When you get outside the pocket and you're trying to make a play, these players are just now starting to try to get accustomed to the scramble drill. And we're learning what Fields likes to do and what he doesn't like to do as far as throws and plays. Well, right here's a scramble drill, and him and Cole Kmet aren't on the same page. Well, those are things you could have had worked out in the preseason, but instead you had Andy Dalton working on that chemistry with Cole Kmet. Justin Fields didn't throw to Cole Kmet all that, maybe a few times in private, but in the public practices and in the preseason games, he didn't throw to him once. He didn't throw to him once. So how do you expect them now to just figure it out on the fly during the season when the live bullets are going on? They're 3-2. They're trying to win games. If they had won against the Packers, it's 17-14 in the fourth quarter. It's the ugliest game ever. Well, they're trying to if they beat the Packers, they're in first place. So
you know what? I think like
hold on.
Okay,
now you're forced to play scared and play call scared to keep the game as close as you possibly can to hope that a ball bounces your way, something lucky happens. And you didn't have to just depend on luck. You could have worked on this stuff in the preseason and given yourself a better chance to win with Justin Fields. And he never believed that was going to be the plan. He believed it was going to be Andy Dalton. And that's on Matt Nagy to not have that foresight.
Well, he never believed that. He doesn't believe in his own place. He has to hide. He thinks by hiding. Like when you went to the camp and everything, he's like, I don't want people to know what I'm doing. And he kind of tells people on the ear, like, hey, I want to tell you to do this, but do this. Like he wants to hide something. The NFL, man, it's man to man. You know what I mean? Like you do the right play. He wants to hide. He thinks everything is a trick. Hey, here, look over here. Look over here. Like I'm over here. Look over here. Look over here.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Look now here. Oh, now I have a white claw right here. You know what I'm saying? Like he's trying to do this dumb tricks that everybody knows. Like the dumb magic tricks, like he's like, I have, and the one hand I have this, and one right hand I have this, and the other hand I have this. Come on. That doesn't work in the NFL, man, Brax, and
yep.
He wanted to make his own type of offense.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work.
The clock's ticking for Matt. Now, it was, commendable that they're 3-2, albeit when Matt Nagy put the playbook down and let another coach on his team take the wheel and drive the car, and you want to give him extra credit for being humble enough to but it's hard for me to take that leap when you see the way he handled the Cleveland Browns game, Justin Fields' first ever start. You watched yesterday, the Arizona Cardinals are playing the Cleveland Browns. You got little Kyler Murray, who's in his second year. Great quarterback, but it's only his second year. He's still learning about the NFL. And, well, what did Arizona do? They got him out of the pocket. They did different things, and they blew the doors open on Cleveland, even with Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. The Bears, they couldn't adjust. They got Cleveland is blowing the doors off them, coming through the gates, sacking Justin Fields over and over and over. And the entire game, Matt Nagy just stands there catatonic and can't adjust. The Green Bay Packers yesterday are having the doors blown off them to start the game. Khalil Mack, Robert Quinn coming through the gates. What did they do? They adjusted. And that's how they win. It's not just Aaron Rodgers. It's the adjustments the coaching staff made. Even if they have a great quarterback, they have to make adjustments to win the game. And Matt Nagy isn't capable of doing that. So it's hard for me to give him any kind of credit at this point. And to me, I'm putting a lot of the blame to the things that go wrong. And I'm giving none of the credit when things go right. And I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you, because he's earned my lack of trust at this point, and it's
Well,
going to take a lot
look,
for him to earn any kind of trust back.
You know when you remember when the Packers brought a heavy set like 3 tight ends?
Yeah.
Why did the Bears? It was like a 3rd and 5 or something, and then the Packers, they bring 3 tight ends, and then the Bears literally brought slow people to cover. That's how they got the first down, like critical first down. Why just to stay with your same whoever is there, okay, let the tight ends beat you. But they have no trust on their players in defense. That this guy probably made this call. You cannot, if the Packers bring 3 tight ends, and then you bring all the 3 heavy people that can not chase nobody, bro, you falling into that's when I saw this is over. I don't know if a lot of people caught this. This is how Green Bay kill us. They bring some personnel that the Bears are like, okay, we have to match it. That's not how you play, man. You play the best man. You just don't bring anybody just to bring anybody. You just play him from center. And that was critical right there. The Packers were laughing their asses off. After that one, that was the touchdown. Why would you do that? Let them bring 3 tight ends. Trusting your players, trusting your defense. Your defense is keeping you on the game. And then you let a Packers decision to put 3 tight ends to get a first down. They make you change the formation of your own team. Man, this is ludicrous. So
yeah,
I'm telling
it's all about adjustments at the end of the day, and the Bears just aren't capable of making them. Before we go, Will,
all right.
What did you happen to see this picture?
Oh man! Oh yeah, I saw I saw this Purdue, man.
Yeah, we were at the Purdue Fan Day over the weekend.
Awesome.
Me and my family, my wife and my daughter, and this is Zach Edey, the center. They got 2 good centers, Travion Williams, and then this is Zach Edey. He's a sophomore in college.
Beautiful picture, bro.
He's the tallest college basketball player.
Oh yeah,
and,
how old is he? Like what?
7'6".
7'6".
Yeah, he's 7'6". He's a load. He makes guys that are 6'11" or 7 foot look small.
Man, I will put Rich right here to the middle of his elbow.
Really nice guy. And I said, "Hey, you mind taking a picture with my daughter?" He's like, "Sure." And he was in the chair and he just kind of leaned over. I was like, "Would you mind standing up?" He stood up and everybody was laughing, and it took a few takes for Addie to actually smile and look at the camera, which is a challenge.
She's having a great time. But that's pretty awesome, man. That's pretty
Taco Grease, who's a big Purdue fan as well. He is a giant, and he's a very good. His story is pretty funny. Will, he's from Canada, and he grew up playing hockey. He didn't play basketball, and he didn't start playing basketball until his sophomore year of high school. He started shooting up like a sprout, and they're like, "Here's a basketball, Zach. This is your future."
Right.
And
he doesn't have like the level and you know what I'm saying.
Well, there's a couple tall hockey players. Chara's. I'm not a hockey fan, but
Bickle, man.
There's a few tall hockey players, but 7'6" is pushing it to be that tall on the ice. Yeah. But so he moved on to basketball. So he's very raw, so to speak, in terms of basketball. He hasn't played his whole life like most kids that are playing college basketball, played since they were 5 years old. He just started playing his sophomore year of high school. Now he's a sophomore in college. Last year was his freshman year. And what's amazing about him, Will, is he's got amazing, because he played hockey his whole life, he's got amazing footwork. He's got amazing hands.
Really?
Which
because
the skills he learned from hockey translated. I mean, he's a hard worker too and puts in the work to be a good basketball player. He's got great. Like, you know how it's really tough for big guys like Shaquille O'Neal could never hit a free throw to save his life. Zach Edey is a great free throw shooter. So his story is really funny.
Well, that's
like, just very interesting, I should say. And he's, Taco Grease is expecting a huge year for him, and I am as well. He is tough to handle. I'll be
cheering for Purdue, man. You know, my alma mater is Loyola University, so.
Well,
I'll
like
be
I said, this is a Chicago sports show, but I cover Purdue basketball as well because I'm season ticket holder and go to the games, and whatever.
That was pretty awesome.
Wherever I'm at in the stands is who I cover, so I'll be at a lot of Purdue games this year. And what's funny about Loyola is my guy that plays for Purdue, that my good friend Sasha, that plays for Purdue. He's a senior now and a guard. His two options were Loyola or Purdue. And back then, I was like, I knew wherever he went, I was going to keep watching him play. And I couldn't decide because, like, Purdue's big time, right? It's the Big Ten. It's a huge school. But if he had gone to Loyola, the drive time for me was about the same. And Loyola's no slouch either, right? And it's like, no, they're a very good team.
Well, right now it's going to be tough. They lost their coach, so I don't know.
Right, they lost their coach and a few of the players. Cameron Krutwig.
He went to Texas, right? I think.
Right.
Yep.
And now they have Denzel Valentine's brother as the coach, and so it'll be interesting to see how they transition. But it's funny because I couldn't decide which school. And had he gone to Loyola, I mean, they did really well last year. So. But the competition he plays at Purdue is second to none. Like in November, they play North Carolina.
Yeah. Purdue's top programs in the country.
Well, today the rankings, the first rankings for college basketball came out. Their first preseason ranking of the year, they're ranked 7th, which is the highest they've been ranked in the preseason since 2007. So like 15 years since they've been ranked this high going into the season, and they've never in the history of their program been ranked number 1. So
never
once. The last time they were in the Final Four was 1980. And
I can't believe that.
And the only time they've been in the top 3, I believe, of the rankings has only been like 3 times in their history, and it was all in the 80s. So they have some milestones they can hit this year. I mean, the ultimate goal is to win the national championship. But we're going to be doing a lot of coverage of Purdue basketball here.
I love that. I love to
Friday night, I'm going to be at the United Center for the Bulls home opener. So
you know what? One of these days, we're going to meet you there because we just got some family packages to go to the Bulls. So
okay, good. Yeah. Well, I'm very impressed.
I'll text you about a date.
Last night,
she loves basketball.
I was very salty last night about the Bears game, so I bought a
single. I'm sorry about basketballs, but I told you. I said 23-13.
Hey, I picked the Bears to lose as well.
I know, but I told you 23-13, and they lost 24-14.
Okay. Well, we always know that you're always right. No. Hey, I'm 5-1. I enter my picks for my guy Kevin Caduck in the midway minute, and I'm 5-1 on the year. The only game I got wrong was the Cleveland game because I was betting with my heart for that game because I was being sentimental because it was Justin Fields' first start, and I wanted him to win. And the other games, I've used my brain, my big Bears brain, and I'm 5-1 picking the Bears on the year. So that's pretty good for a home. I'm a homer and I'm a meatball, so I'm always, tempted to pick the Bears, but I've learned how to be a little more realistic, and I'm 5-1. We'll see. I started hot last year though with my picks, and then they fell apart as the season progressed. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm actually tempted to go to Tampa. Just go watch the Bears. My uncle lives there.
Watch the Bears get whooped.
My uncle.
You gonna take your private jet? You gonna take the private jet down there?
I wish. Soon. Hopefully.
Just don't forget us.
10 years.
Right. Just don't forget us when you get that private jet.
But my uncle, he lives over there. He's got a sweet home.
My dad lives in Cape Coral.
My uncle. He's a DJ. He's a big time DJ in one of the casinos there in Tampa.
Well, he needs to take Trey Tunes under his wing then.
Yeah. I mean, but he's private. But he that's his thing. I'm not going to tell you what we'll talk. We'll talk.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
talk.
Well, it's coming up
Sorry,
on 10 o'clock at night, so I'm gonna get going here.
Only 10 o'clock. God damn.
Yeah, I want to get to. I haven't even had my dinner yet. I know it's not good to eat dinner late.
Are you gonna do some push-ups today? Are you gonna do?
I'm not doing no push-ups.
Why?
Okay.
Look,
I'm gonna eat my protein. I got my steak dinner ready.
Do push-ups before.
I ain't doing no. I'm tired, and I'm still recovering from yesterday's game. So
yeah, so that's the best thing to recover.
no,
Just
I
pump some blood through your heart.
I laid stone all day today. That
see,
was
like
my
don't
workout.
like don't let see. This is the problem.
Listen.
This is a lot of problem with you people when you drink. Okay, when you guys drink, let your skin, because this you know the skin is an organ, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that?
Yes.
Did you know that the skin? You didn't know that.
I said I was wrapping this show up. You better be quick with this.
The skin is an organ.
Okay.
So the skin is an organ, and then you can sweat it out without using your liver.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to let your liver do all the work for you. You can just let your skin sweat it out instead of putting all that toxin in your liver.
Okay.
Just let it sweat it out.
All right, let it out. All right. You heard it here.
Through your skin.
You heard it here. Let it out.
That's why I go to the sauna, sweat all the
Will
toxins
says let
out.
it out. West Coast Bias, who's also named
West
Greg.
Coast Bias.
Yeah.
Is he from West Coast or
his
is
name's
he
Greg?
or he wants to be? He wants to be in the West Coast.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Either way, he gets a participation trophy. Everybody that's still in the chat, everybody that stayed for the whole show gets a participation trophy. So here it is. Will's awarding you your participation trophy for hanging out with us all night tonight.
Participation trophy for everyone.
We appreciate everybody here hanging out. Will, any quick
and that was
no.
That participation trophy was because me being upset because we lost to the Browns. So just make people clear that participation is a trophy. Brown loss, please. You got to put it at the bottom.
I don't know.
Lost to the Browns.
Okay, well, we're not going to do that. But
okay, well, the next time, please.
I don't think West Coast Bias is going to mind that his name's up there. But if he does, I apologize. So, but we'll keep it between us if he does, all right? There's only a few of us here, so we'll keep it between that. And most people that are going to watch the show aren't going to watch all the way to the end because that means they had to sit through the Triggered with Will segment. And for some that don't understand the beauty that is Will Dutan, it takes a minute to get to know Will.
Thank you, my brother.
So maybe they haven't quite. So
well, you know what? I will.
Final thoughts, Will, and then I'm putting you backstage.
I promise you, I will go to one of these games, and to one of these games, I will bring you out to wherever I am sitting, or I will join you where you are sitting. I promise.
All right.
So
any other final thoughts other than that you're gonna go to a
especially
game?
if we're gonna do the cattle, I want to call it the cattle,
Oh, we're spooning. It's the spoon.
I feel afraid to call it a spoon, bro.
No, don't be afraid. Just
because after the spooning it becomes forking, so I don't want that to happen. You know what I mean?
Be afraid. Just embrace it.
Anyway, so I will prefer to do it at a Bears game, somewhere next to the bushes or something.
Yeah. Well,
so I promise to you that I will. If the Bears win 5 games, right, and they have to win 6 games, I will go to the Bears game and we'll spoon if they win.
That sounds good. You got yourself a deal, Will. Appreciate you coming on here tonight. I'm going to put you backstage, and then we're going to wrap this baby up. So thank you again for your support, and thanks for coming on to another edition of Brags in the Stands. I'm sure we'll see you here real soon. So that was Will Dutan, and we are wrapping this baby up and putting a bow on it. want to give a big shout out to my special guest, David Kaplan of ESPN 1000, and of course, Darrin Utynek from Bernie's Book Bank. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate you guys letting me be involved in your endeavors, and thank you for your time here tonight. It was fun chopping it up, talking Bears, and doing everything else. I also want to shout out my guy, Trey Tunes. He's not DJing, he's not sleeping or pooping. He's actually hanging out with some friends, having dinner tonight. So couldn't make it. He said he was going to try to make it at the back end if he got home, but I told him no pressure. Trey and I will be doing a show as soon as we possibly can. When our schedules are lined up, we always try to work those things out at the beginning of the week, and we'll see if we can get a crossover show here to end the week, talk some Bears. I'm going to the Bulls game Friday night, so can't do it Friday night, so we'll have to see what day of the week works in regards to that. And you can always watch the Trey Tunes show live only on Twitch, weekdays 12 to 2 p.m., Monday through Friday, talking sports and playing hits as he always does. And really looking forward to it. And looking forward to doing some more shows with him in the future. We always got to make sure we get at least one Trey dancing video in before we go too, right? I mean,
and I'm sorry,
wouldn't be a show without Trey dancing, right? So also want to shout out my guy Aaron from the Collector's Cave for helping with the jersey giveaway, helping with the interview, having some fun, talking some sports, doing our thing here. Certainly was a lot of fun. And thank you for the partnership and the friendship that you brought here to the table here at Brags in the Stands. Look forward to the live show we're going to be doing November 7th here coming up. Thomas Jones. Keep on the lookout. I'll be continuing to promote that. So I hope all of you can make it for that show. Trey should be there with me, but we'll see. For future announcements, I'll let you know officially how that's going down. So, and then also I want to shout out everybody in the chat. It was a fired up chat tonight. Obviously, everybody's excited that David Kaplan, Mr. Sparkles, was in the house, and the chat was firing away all night long. Thank you guys for all your support and coming on tonight. Derek's telling me to pound sand. All right, I will. I'm going to pound sand, and I'm going to be entering the Sandman and going to bed here soon. So appreciate you, Derek. And thank you, Taco Grease. And thank you for everybody. Bear Truth 9, you were late. That's okay. Nobody's judged. The judgment-free zone here at Brags in the Stands, but we appreciate you popping in here in the second half and enhancing the show with all your great comments in the chat. So definitely want to check out the first half. Cap had some good stories and good insight in regards to Justin Fields and Matt Nagy and, the torment that Aaron Rodgers has put us through. So we shall see. Yeah, I need to get back to the gym. You can get back to the gym. I need to get my ass back to the gym. No question about that. So we'll see if I can get that done too. But busy all day long. Got Bulls basketball starting up Wednesday, and then Friday night's the home opener. Got Purdue basketball starting in 2 weeks. I'll be going to every one of those games. I'm more excited for Purdue basketball at this point than I am for the Bears. So busy. So we'll see how much we can fit in, but appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out, watching Brags in the Stands as per usual. So be on the lookout for announcements for upcoming shows. We'll try to get one done here later in the week. Give away our Johnny B for 3 picks so you can make some money from your couch. And again, thank you to Will Dutan, Triggered Will, for coming on as he always does, handing out participation trophies and staying triggered. But we love Will and we appreciate his support and friendship as well. So I think that does it for all my shout outs. Also, again, shout out to my guy, Phil Atoshin, Draft Dr. Phil from the Tape Never Lies Network, put on a huge weekend of Bears events. We were at a bar near the United Center, Crossroads Bar and Grill, and then we were hanging out in the tailgate in the South Lot all weekend, or not all weekend, all Sunday morning, and then after the game, licking our wounds from the Bears-Packers game. But had a lot of fun hanging out with everybody from the Tape Never Lies Network crew. Had a lot of fun hanging out with Phil. He's from Connecticut, so don't get to see him all that often. So, him and his lovely wife are great company. So I want to shout out those guys once again. And that will do it here for tonight. Drive home safely. Have a good night's rest. Always, always, always bear down. Thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk real soon. And then that is it.